Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to start a new tutorial for CSS for complete beginners. So in this CSS tutorial for complete beginners, today we're going to learn how to write CSS in HTML. As you can see into our notepad, we type that three types of way to write CSS in HTML file. One is inline, internal line, and external. So right now I'm going to demonstrate you what's inline, what's internal, and what's external. So first we have to open our Sublime text, and into the Sublime text we just need to type over here into the body section paragraph. And into the paragraph section we just need to if we just want to type over here, hello, I am Red. So as you can see, we wrote over here, hello, I'm Ray into the P tag. So for using inline, what we have to do, we have to come over into the paragraph tag, and then here we just need to type over here style attribute, and into the style attribute we just need to type over here color, and the color will be red. And if you want to change the font size, you can do it as well, font size, and the font size will be 20 pixel. I'm going to save it. And now if you open in this into the browser, as you can see, the paragraph tag is showing with a red color and the font size is 20 pixel. So this is called inline CSS. And now the next one is internal CSS. So for that, what we have to do, internal CSS basically come into the head section into a HTML file. So before that, we're going to delete this inline text, and we need to come over into the head section, and into the head section we need to add the style tag. Into the style tag we want to customize the color of this P tag. So for that, what we have to do, we just need to type over here P and giving the curly bracket. Into the curly bracket we can simply add the color, and the color we will give a blue, and then we're going to add the font size, and the font size will be 18 pixel. After that we're going to save it, and then if you refresh it, as you can see right now we are getting blue color, and then we are getting 18 pixel the font size. So basically if you type into the head section with the style tag, it's called internal CSS. So now we will going to learn external CSS. So for external CSS, we need to create another file for CSS. So for that, we need to come over into the HTML and going to create a new file, and we will going to name it as style.css, and then save as type as CSS, and going to save it right now. And right now, if you can see, we're going to customize this P tag. So for that, in here, we'll type the P, and then we're going to give the curly bracket, and into the curly bracket, we're going to type color, and this time we're going to give green. And after that, we're going to give the font size, and the font size will be 30 pixel, and then we're going to save it. And now as you can see, if we save it and now if we refresh it, there is nothing changed. So we give a value over here, so this value should be linked with this HTML file. How are we going to do it? We're going to do it into the header tag. So for that, we just need to type over here link attribute, and then into the link attribute, here will be the relation with the style sheet, and the type will be text.css, and into the href we need to put the name of this file. So we're going to copy the name from here and going to paste it over here like this, and then we're going to save it. After, if you refresh it, as we can see in our output in HTML website, it's rightly changed with the green color and with the 30 pixel font size. So this is the three types of CSS. That's it. This is how we can simply type CSS in HTML file. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn how to color a text using HTML CSS. So how are you going to do it? We will going to add color into these texts, and also we will going to add color into the background. So how we're going to do it? Before that, we just need to identify this p tag over here. There is 4 section of p tag, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to give a ID over them. So for that, what we're going to do, we're going to give the P ID and going to name it as P1. And then we're going to do the same with this ID and we're going to name it as a P2. After, into this P paragraph, P open paragraph, we're going to give the ID and going to type over here P3. And now if we come over into this p tag, and if we type over here ID and type P4, and then we're going to save it, and after that we're going to open the style.css file, and then here we will going to type over here a very simple called body curly bracket, and then into the background we're going to give a background color, and the background color will be going to pick, going to type over here pick color, and from here we can simply pick some color how we want. So we're going to give this RGB value over here. So for that we're going to give this over here like this. I'm going to paste it over here like this, and then going to save it. And now if we just, as you can see that we added the background color over here like this one, as you can see. So now if we just wanted to give this paragraph a different color, as you can see, we're going to give all the text in a different color. So how are you going to do it? We're going to come over into the style.css, and then here we're going to give the hash and then give p1 tag, and then going to give this curly bracket. So for that we're going to type over here color, and then we'll give the color with this one as we copied from here. You can see we're going to copy this RGB color and we're going to give it, and we're going to save it. After that, if you refresh it over here, as you can see, now the text color is rightly changed. And now we're going to come for hash P2. I'm going to give the curly bracket, and from here we'll give the color, and we're going to give it as white, I think, white smoke. And if we just save it and if we just refresh it over here, as you can see the text color has been changed. And into the third row, into the third paragraph, we're going to give the P3, going to give the curly bracket, and then here we're going to give the color as a red. Going to save it, and now if we refresh it, as you can see, we added another red color into this third paragraph. And now we're going for the fourth paragraph. So for that we're going to give the hash, then give the P4, and then give the curly bracket or like this, and then we're going to give the color as yellow like this, and we're going to yellow green. Going to save it, and if we just refresh it, as you can see, we change the text color over here like this. So yeah, this is how we can simply change color in text using HTML CSS in a very simple way. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to our CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn how to change background color using HTML CSS. it's a very simple process. What do you have to do? You just need to come over into your style.css file, and here you just need to have to type over here body. And now if you give the curly bracket, and here if you want to type over here background color, and then if you give the background color as gray, and if you save it, and now if you refresh it, as you can see, you change the background color over here. Also, you can give the different color if you want to give it as a blue violet, and if you save it, and now if you refresh it, you will change the background color over here. So I'm going to give it as a sky blue, going to save it, and now if you refresh it over here, as you can see, we rightly changed the background color into our HTML CSS. So this is how we can simply change background color in using HTML CSS. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we will going to learn how to change font using HTML CSS. So for that, as we can see, we have a p tag over here. If we give the PID as a p1, and then if we give the p open tag over here as a PID p2, and if we save it, and now if we come over into style.css, and in here we can simply, as you can see over here, we're going to give the first hash called p1, and then we're going to give the curly bracket, and as you can see into the add image, we're going to change the font family. So we were going to change the font size, font style called sans serif. As you can see, we can simply save it, and now if you refresh it, as you can see, the font is rightly changed. Into here we can simply change the font size. You can see the font size, and we can make it 100 px, and you can simply give a save it. If you refresh it, as you can see, it will looks like this. Will make it a little bit decrease called 50, and we can save it. And as you can see, we rightly change the font size over here like this. Also, we can do a little bit different. We can make it a little bit italic, so, or we can make it a little bit a bold. It looks like a bold one, but we can, for that we can make it italic. Can save it, and if you refresh it, you can see it's look like italic. So yeah, this is how we can simply change the fonts into using HTML CSS in your HTML website. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn how to use border in HTML website by using CSS. It's a very simple process. What you have to do, you need to come over into the CSS folder, and then here what you have to do, we have to p tag, and then we can simply give the curly brackets, and then here we can simply type border dash style, and then here we can simply type over here outset, and you can save it. And now if you refresh over here, as you can see, there is a border into our paragraph text. Also, we can do some customization. We can simply type over here border width, and then we can simply give the border width into 5 pixels, and we can save it. And if you just scroll down, if you just refresh it, as you can see, we expand the border width with the 5 pixels. And now if we want to give this border a color, what you can do, we can simply type border dot color, and then we can give the color as gold. Maybe we give a golden road, but we can leave it as gold. We can save it, and if you refresh it, as you can see, into the border we colored as gold. And then into the border colored, we can or you can use a border dash radius, and then we can simply type over here 10 pixel. We can save it, and if you refresh it over here like this, as you can see, it's a little bit curved over here, as you can see. So now if you just type over here padding, and into the padding we can simply type 5px. We can simply save it, and now if you refresh it, it will looks like this. Into the border we need space, that's why we created a padding difference into 5 pixels. That's why it's showing like this. Also we will do something to the heading side, so here you can simply type h with this curl bracket, and we can simply give border dash top, and we can simply give another dash to style, and we can give the style as dotted. We can simply give it dotted. We can also give some specific one. We can simply give on, so we can save it, and if we just reload it, you can save it over here like this. Oh, we need to give the h1 tag over here, immediately mistake. And if we just scroll, if we refresh it, as you can see, it's over the learning CSS we create some dotted. Also we will do the same to the bottom. We can simply type border dash bottom and create style dotted. You can save it, and now if you refresh it, it will looks like this. Also we can do another one called border dash left. Into the left side we're going to give the style, so for that we're going to give it border left style, and we'll give the dotted over here as well. Save it, and now if we just refresh it, you can see the dotted over here. So after that, what we can do the same for the right side as well. So what we can do, we can give the border right style dotted and save it and refresh it. As you can see, we give the border at the right side dotted as well. And now we're going to give it a color. So for that, we're going to type over here border top style. We can give a color, and then we can give the color as silver. And if we save it, and now if we refresh it, as you can see, we give them a silver color. We can give different color. We can give sky blue, save it, and if we refresh it, it will give this kind of color over here. Also we can do it for the left side, bottom side, and the right side with the same style. So if we now do a different one, like we can simply give the border left width, and we can give the width as 10 pixels. We can save it, and if you refresh it, it will looks like this, as you can see. So yeah, this is how we can simply do customization in borders in HTML with CSS. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to our CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn how to add background image using HTML CSS. If we come over into the body section, if we type over here p tag, into the p tag we can simply type over here add image, and then if we just save it and if we just refresh it, you can see we add the image text over here. Into the add image, we can simply add another p tag, and we can add lorem ipsum. So how are we going to add it? It's a very simple process. Before that, we just need to add the picture that we downloaded. We're going to cut it from here to paste it into the HTML folder. And now if we come over into the style.css and if we type over here body and give the curly bracket over here, and we can use the background image. So for that we need to find out background image attribute, and then here you can type over here URL. Into the URL section we can simply add this picture. So for that we're going to copy the picture name over here. So you can see we can simply copy it and going to paste it over here like this. We can simply save it over here like this. And now if we come over into our website, as you can see the picture has been added. If we give you the full way, you can see the picture has been added over here. So as you can see there is a repetitive picture, so we can simply fix it in a very simple way by a very simple command. It's called background dash position, and we can simply set it into the center, and we can simply save it. And now if you refresh it over here like this, it will looks like this. You can see there are lots of one. So how are you going to fix it? We can simply give background dash repeat, and here we can type no repeat, and we can save it. And now if we come over here and refresh it, as you can see there is only this picture over here, but it is centered. So how you going to maximize it with the full coverage? So how are you going to do it? So we'll need to type over here another time a new command or the new attribute called background dash size. And if we just type over here cover, if we save it, and now if we just refresh it, as you can see it's covered. We need another attribute for make it attachment. So for that we need another one called background attachment, and we can simply add it with the fixed one, save it. And now if we refresh it over here like this, as you can see now it's completely okay. We can it's completely okay, as you can see. So this is how we can simply add a background image in HTML CSS in a very simple way. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another video. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn how to change image height and width using CSS. So you already know how to add an image in HTML file. So now we will going to learn how to change height and width using CSS. So it's a very simple process. First, we're going to learn change width and height directly. So for that, what you have to do, you just need to have to type over here img, give the curly bracket. Into the curly bracket, you just need to type over here width. And if you want to give the width into 300 pixel, if you just save it, and now if you type over here height and give the height about 200 pixel, and if you just save it, and now if you just refresh it, as you can see right now your picture's height and width will looks like this. Basically it's the exact saying that how I am going to see my picture into this website. So it's a very direct way to using height and width. We can do it in another way. It's called using percentage. So using percentage is like make the picture half size of the container it's in. So I will going to use percentage. So for that, if I just type over here, or if you just give the width into 50%, and now if I save it, at this time your picture will looks like this. So we can change the height and width another way to limit the maximize size. So what we're going to do over here, like we're going to type over here max height. We're going to give it 400 pixel, and then we're going to type over here max width. So for that we're going to type over here 100%. You can also give the pixels too. It can keep your picture from getting too big. It can grow but not too much. So what it is, if you just save it and now if you refresh it, as you can see, it looks like this. So now if you just slightly looking at this, if you just look at this like this, maximize it, you can see how much you just minimize this, it will looks the same height and width. As you can see, if you just scroll down a little bit, it will not maximize then 400 pixel and the 100% width, you can see. So now if we just do another way to change the height and width, so what we can do, we can keep the picture shape. So what it means, if we just give the width or a 300 pixel and give the height 200 pixel, and then if we relate an object fit and give it cover, and now if we can save it, and now if you refresh over here like this, you can see over here that we added a new attribute called object fit with cover. It's not the original size of this picture, but if you want to cover, type this attribute called cover into this object fit. So in this way you can simply change the height and width for images in CSS using. So this is how we can simply change height and width in HTML file using CSS. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn about CSS float for Windows. The float properties helps other elements to flow around it. It's practically useful for images and block level. So in our Sublime text, we added an image, and now we will going to add img tag and then give the source the name of this image. So we're going to copy the image name and then we're going to paste it into the source, and then we're going to save it. After into the image source in dragon.jpg, we right click and then we're going to give the height, and the height should be 150 pixel, and then we're going to give it id, and the id should be img1, and then we're going to save it. And after we're going to give a paragraph tag, and then into the paragraph tag we're going to add lorem ipsum. So for that we're going to our Google and going to type over here lorem ipsum, and then we're going to copy this and going to paste it over here into the p tag. So for that we can simply copy it and then going to paste it over here like this. So as you can see, we added this 2 paragraph over here and going to save it. And now if we just open the browser, you can see it's look like this. So what we're going to do, position this text into the right side of this picture. So for that, what we have to do, we just need to come over into our style.css, and into the style.css you just need to type over here hash and going to type image and the image name over here. As you can see, this image name you just need to type over here, and then you just need to give the curly bracket, and into the curly bracket you just need to type over here float. And into the float, if you just wanted to, make this picture at to the left side, in here you just need to type over here left, and then you just need to save it. And now if we just refresh it, as you can see, this picture is now faded at to the left side. As you can see, looking so tidy with the picture. So for that, we're going to add margin right, and we're going to give it as 20 pixel. I'm going to save it. And now if you just refresh it over here like this, as you can see, it's create a space from the right of this picture, as you can see. So now if you just wanted to float it into the right side, you just type over here right. And now if you save it, and as you can see, now the picture will be set into the right side. So I think the left side looks well with this. So for that, we're going to type over here left, going to save it. And now if we just refresh it, as you can see that this is called float, and you can simply change the picture position like where you want and in a very simple way. So that's it. This is what CSS float means for HTML file. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for beginners. Today we're going to learn how to position in CSS in a very simple way. So first we're going to learn about static. So for that we just need to come over into the body tag, and into the body tag we need to add the div tag. And if we add the div tag, we just need to close it from here and going to paste this close div tag into in bottom this image tag, and then into the div tag we just need to give ID, and the ID should be P1, and then it will need to get save it. And now if we just come over into style.css, we can simply use the P tag P1 and going to give the curly bracket, and into the curly bracket we can simply add position and going to give the position called static. I'm going to save it. And now if you come over into this index.html dot, and if you open in browser, as you can see now this picture is showing into our website as a static way. Static way defines just leave it alone, no movement, no fancy placement. It just remains as it is. And now we're going to dive into the next one. It's called relative position. And before that, if we just type over here top 20px and left 30px, and now if we just give the position right now relative, and now if we just save it, and now if we come over into the website and if we just just refresh it, as you can see that this image at the left side there is the space about 30 pixels, and from the top it will be 20 pixels. So basically relative position does you can move this picture from top to left and right to bottom. So after completing the relative position, we can know about absolute position. And if we just save it, and into the absolute position we can simply refresh it over here like this, and the absolute position defines that you can move this picture anywhere if you want. You can make it into the right side, you can make it into the center, left side, at the bottom side. You can move this picture anywhere you want, and that's the power of absolute position. And there is another position that is defines a very good flex. It's called flex position, and the flex position defines a different sort of element. You can simply remove this top and left, and you can simply give the position flex as justify content into the set it into the center, and justify and just align items into center, and then the height should be 100 VH, and you can simply save it. Oh, before that, you just need to change the position over here. You just need to give it display, and then you just need to give the justify content center and align items into the center, and also give the height at 100 VH. After, you have to save it, and now if you just scroll it, as you can see, your image now living into the center. Basically, flex does is it's always remain your image or any of your text into the center. And so this is all for CSS positioning. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to our CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn about CSS opacity for HTML file. So without wasting any time, let's dive in. First, we have to come over into our Sublime text, and into the Sublime text, we need to type a div tag, and we need to add a div tag, and we just need to do this div tag 4 times, like 2, 3, 4, and we're now going to do like this. And now into the div tag, we need to add class. And from the class, we need to give the class name. Like I'm going to name it as a 1. And then the second one, we need to add a class and we need to give the name 2. And the third one, we need to give the name class and name it as 3. After that, we're going to come to the class and going to name it as 4. That's it. We'll be now going to save it. And after that, we're going to come into the style.css, and into the style.css, we're going to type over here div and going to give the curly bracket. And into the curly bracket, we're going to give the background. And the background, I want to give a blue. And then I will going to give a width about 100 pixel. I'm going to give a height, and the height about 200 pixel. Let's make a space in here. It looks cool. And after that, we're going to give float. I'm going to give the float as left. We're now going to save it. And now if we come over into our this index.html file or the website, we're going to click on or refresh it like this. So after that, if we just give a margin, like I'm going to give a margin right to 10 pixel, and if we just save it, and now if you refresh it, as you can see, these 4 individual color box into our HTML website. And now what's happened into this div file, we're now going to give an individual class ID. As we can see, we added 4 class ID or the class into the div tag. So right now what we're going to do, we will going to give a div dot 1, and now going to give the curly bracket, and into the curly bracket we're going to add opacity, and on the opacity we're going to give 1.0 over here like this. And after that, we're going to save it, and after we're going to give div another time and going to give 2, and now going to give the opacity, and the opacity should be 0.5 something like this. And then after that, we're going to give the div another time, and now going to add the 3. And if we added the 3 and give the opacity to as like going to give 0.3, I think that will be okay. And now we're going to add another time div 4, div dot 4, and going to give the opacity, and going to give the opacity into 0.1. So now what happened, you can see that we make a div background color with the width, height, float left, and the margin right 10 pixels. And also we give this div tag a different name, and with the different name we added the opacity with the 4. So now we're going to know what opacity does. We just need to save it right now. And now we need to come over into our website. And if you just refresh it. So as you can see, we did a slightly mistake over here. What is this? We make some letter into capital or smaller. So for that, our functionality or the attributes didn't work. So for that, if we now just save it, and now if we just refresh it, as you can see, the 4 different colored opacity in HTML website. So what is telling? It's completely blue. As you can see, if we just come into the right side, and now if you open this code editor into the style.css, into the opacity, we added the div1 opacity 1.0. It called 100%. And now if we added the opacity 0.5, it will looks like this. And if we added the opacity 0.3, it will looks more lighter. And for the last one, 0.1 will be looks like this. If we just added 0 over here, you can see it will be completely white. Looks like the background, like, right? So yeah, that's it. This is how we can simply use opacity in your HTML website. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn about CSS color gradient. A color gradient in CSS is a smooth transition between two or more colors. Instead of having one solid color, a gradient blends multiple colors together, create a nice visual effect. First, we have to come over our CSS gradient website, this one, cssgradient.io. So what we are here, you can see there are simply 2 options to know about gradient. One is linear and one is radial. Well, there is 3 types of CSS gradients, one called linear gradient, radial gradient, and conic gradient. In this video, we will going to only learn about linear and radial gradient. So for that, the linear gradient, from here you can simply get the code to write about a linear gradient in your HTML file. So first we have to come over into our Sublime text, and into the Sublime text, into the body tag, we have to need to create a new tag called div. After that, we need to come over into our style.css, and in here we need to give a div element and then going to write curly brackets, and into the curly brackets we need to create a circle. So for that we need to type width, and into the width we need to give 400 pixel, and after that we need to type over here height, and for height we need to give 400 pixel too. After we need to write about border. So for border we need to write about 1 pixel solid light gray. And after that we need to give the border radius. So for that we need to type over here border, oh not here, border radius, and into the border radius we can simply give 50%, and then we need to type over here margin, and into the margin we need to give 0 auto. That's it. After, what will happen if you just save it, everything you wrote, you just save it. So after giving the border here, what do we have to do? We need to give this, we need to come over into CSS gradient, and from here we need to select linear, and from here we need to copy this background linear gradient from here. Going to copy it and going to paste it over here like this. We're going to keep enter to make it smaller and going to save it. And now if we just refresh into our index.html, as you can see we get a circle, and then it's looking like a linear gradient. As you can see at the right side there is blue color, and the left side there is a black and a golden color. So we're going to pick a very good color for that. If we just pick this color, and if we just copy this background code, and then if we just paste it another time like this, and then as you can see, if we just save it, and now if we just refresh it into our website, as you can see, it's looking like a linear gradient. So it's called linear gradient. This is how you can type linear gradient in your HTML file. And now we will going to talk about our radial gradient. There is not a much different. You just need to pick any of your color that you want to looks on your web HTML website, and for that you can simply copy it from here, and then you can simply paste it onto the linear gradient, and now it is looking like a radial gradient. And now if you save it, and now if you come over into website and refresh it, as you can see, now it's looking like a radial gradient. As you can see at the middle side there is a color, and it's blushing side by side to the circle, and you can see from the outside of this circle, it's from the outside of this little circle, it's all bluish. At the middle there is some dark blue looking into this radial gradient. So that's it. This is how we can simply type radial gradient or linear gradient into your HTML website. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for beginners. Today we're going to learn about CSS transform. Well, it's a very simple process. First, you have to come over into your Sublime text, and into the Sublime text, you need to come over into the body section. Into the body section, you need to type over here div tag. Into the div tag, you can simply add a ID, and the ID name will be P1. And into the div tag, we can simply type over here hello. We can save it, and now we can simply come into our style.css, and into the style.css we can simply type the hash p1. Be sure you write the correct, make sure you write the correct id name, and after that you can simply add the curly brackets, and into the curly brackets you can simply add curly brackets, and into the curly brackets you can simply add border. Into the border you can simply type over here 4 pixel solid, and after you can simply type over here width, and into the width you can simply type over here 250 px, and after you can simply create a height, and the height will be 250 px. That's it. You can save it, and now if you open the browser, you'll get to see looks like this. So what we're going to do, we're going to do it side by side. So for that we're going to type over here height, and then we're going to go for the font size. So I'm going to make the font size about 222 to 5 pixel, and then we're going to create a text align into the center, and we're going to now save it. And now if you refresh it, as you can see, the hello is rightly centered into this box. So as you can see, the hello looks a little bit bigger. So for that, we're going to change the hello to high, because if I keep simple, that will help you to understand this concept. And now if we just refresh it, as you can see, we added the high and we centered it. After the text align, we can simply add the background, and the background should be light blue sky, light sky blue. We can simply add, and then we can simply save it. And if we refresh it, as you can see, we added the background color, and then we're going to add the transform. So before that, as we can see, we create a border, and then we create a width, height, font size, text align to the center, and the background light blue sky. So now we're going to add the transform. So for that, we're going to add the transform. The first one, I'm going to add the translate X, and the translate X should be set into 50 px, I would like to say. and I'm going to save it. And now if I refresh it, as you can see, by translate, I can simply created some space at my left side. So X is always created the space for the left side. And now if I just copy it, and now if I just create another to paste it like this, and now we're going to give it as a Y. And now if I just save it, now if I refresh it, as you can see right now, the this box came into left side and create a space at to the right side. If I just copy it, if I just paste it and change it to the rotate, and if I just give the value to 180 degree, that's it. If I just save it, and now if we refresh it over here like this, as you can see, at the right side, its X is always going to the right side and the Y is always going to the left side. So if I just going to type over here transform, and if I just type over here rotate Y and give the value to 180 px or degree, and if I now save it, if I just refresh it, as you can see right now, the right side is change the rotation into 180 degree. So now you make sure or be confident with that the X value always affected to the right side and the Y value always affected the left side. And after we're going to give transform another time and try to use the rotate Z, is a Z, and if I give the value into 180 degree again, I'm going to save it, what will happen? It will rotate all the X and Y. If we give the rotate as Z, it will rotate X and Y both. After we're going to create transform another time and going to give a new attribute called scale. I'm going to use scale X and give the scale to 3. That's it. Going to save it. And now if I just refresh it, as you can see, X always affected the right side. Now if I try it for the left side to type transform scale to Y and the rotation should be 3. And if I just save it, you can see it's affected to the upper side. Right now it's affected to the upper side from the scale. And then now if I just type over here transform another time, and now if I give only scale, it will affect the XY both. So for that, if I type over here 2 and 2, and if I save it and I will refresh it, as you can see, it's affected with the X and Y both. That's why it's only uses scale. And now if I type over here transform another time, and if I just use transform like a skew, you can see we use it as a skew. For the skew X, we can simply type over here 45 degree, can save it, and now if we scroll it, as we can see, this box is skewed to 45 degree angle. And now if we give transform another time and give skew to Y, what will happen? If we just give 45 degree again, and if we can save it, and if we refresh it, as we can see, it's completely rotated 45 degree into the left side, as we can see. So now if you just use only transform and you can use Q only, what will happen? You can simply save it to 20 degree, 20 degree. If we just save it and now refresh it, as you can see, it's both rotated into X and Y. You can see skew always affected to X and Y both. after we're going to try a different one called transfer matrix. Well, it's very important to know about the matrix. So for that, I'm going to add the notepad because I added some information over here. So basically matrix combines with scale x, skew y, skew x, scale y, and translate x and translate y. So first we're going to talk about the scale x. So if we type over here transform, I'm going to add matrix. So as you can see, they are added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 value. So the first value is indicate to the scale x. You can see here is the scale x. So it's indicate to the scale x. So I'm going to, if I type over here only 2, and the second value affected with the skew y. The skew y is over here, as you can see. So if you type over here only 1, and the third one is affected to the skew x. The skew x is over here, as you can see, skew x. I will going to leave it as 0. And if the fourth one is related with the scale y, as you can see here is the scale y. So if we type over here another time 0, and the fifth one is related to the translate x, the first one, as you can see. So for that we can simply type over here 0, and for the last one translate y, I am going to give it 5. That's it. I can simply save it right now. And now if I refresh it, it's vanished. So here we need to give some value, like I'm going to get a 1, to give 1, and everything going to give a value called 1 and going to save it. And now if you refresh it, the matrix will looks like this. Matrix combined with scale x, skew y, skew x, scale y, translate x, and translate y. This row is defined with this row. Scale x, scale y, skew x, skew y, scale y, translate x, and translate y. So that's it for the transform in HTML by using CSS. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn about CSS transition. CSS transition means, as you can see, if I come over into this button, as you can see now it's looking like blue with the hover me text, and if I just give a simply put my cursor on this button, as you can see it changes with red with white color, and as you can see it's little bit looking like pops up. So how are you going to make this transition? So what do you have to do? You just simply come over into your Sublime text, into the body section. You can simply type over here button, and into the button we can simply type over here hover me, and into the button tag, open tag, we can simply give a class, and to the class we can simply name it as my button, and we can simply save it. And now if we just open our browser, you can see it looks like this. So for that, what you can do, we can simply come over into our style.css. Into the style.css we can simply give a dot and my button. You can simply type over here and then giving the curly brackets. And into the curly brackets we can simply add background color, and into the background color we can simply give a blue, and then we can simply give a color called white, and then we can simply add a padding and giving the padding as 10 pixel space 20 pixel, and we can simply add the border, and the border will be none. That's it. And now we can simply give the cursor pointer. So for that we can simply give pointer, and then we can simply give the font size. So for the font size, we can give the font size as 16 pixel. And then we can simply give the transition. So for that, we can simply add the transition attribute and give the background color. And after the background color, we can simply give the background color 0.5 is and give a comma and type over here transform 0.3 is. That's it. Now we can simply give, and after that here we can simply give my button, and into the my button we can simply give a hover, give a space and type hover, or you can give here hover, and after giving hover we can simply give the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets we can give background color to red, and then we can simply give the transform scale. For the transform scale should be 1.1. That's it. So after that we can simply come over into our HTML file, you can save it, and now if you just click on open in browser, and you can see right now the transition has been added. Whenever you put your cursor on the hover me, you can see it's look like it's getting bigger, and it's look like hover me with the red color, blue color, and when I put my cursor on, it will looks like this. So this is a very simple way to add transition in your HTML website by using style.css. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn about how to use flex in CSS. It's a very simple process. First you have to come over into your Sublime text. So first we can simply add a heading over here. You can simply add a h1 tag, and from here you can simply type create a flex container, and you can simply save it, and now we can go for open the browser. As you can see that in our heading text is showing over here into our website. After that we're going to click div tag, and into the div tag we can simply add class, and into the class we can simply add flex container. So for that we can simply add flex dash container. Make sure your spelling is all okay. And after, what we can do, we can simply create div give one, and we can create like this, and we can simply name them 2, 3, 4. So what we did, we create a h1 tag, as you can see over here, and then we add a class attribute into the flex container named, and then we added 4 boxes or 4 row over here, as you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we will come to the style.css, and into the style.css we can simply click dot and then add the name flex container. We can simply use the curly brackets, and into the curly brackets we can simply add display attribute with the flex, and then we can simply add a background color with Dodger blue. That's it, and now we can simply save it. And now look at to this website, what did happened? Nothing happened right now. You have to save it. So as you can see right now, there is a create a flex container, and there is a column 1, 2, 3, 4 numbering over here. So dot and flex container, and then we'll give this angular brackets, and then we're going to add div. Into the div we can simply add the curly brackets, and to the curly brackets we can simply add background color as F1, 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 and then we can give a margin to making a box. For that we can simply add margin and going to give 10 pixel and going to need a padding for making the box to create, and then give the value 20 pixel, and then we're going to give a font size into the box. For that we'll need to use the font size attribute, and then we need to give here 30 pixel. Now that's it. We can simply save it right now. Now if we go for our browser, if you just refresh, and as you can see right now, your create flex container is looking like this. So this is how we can simply use flex for creating flex container. You can simply align them and customize their positions like however you want. So this is the advantages for using flex. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to our CSS tutorial for beginners. Today we're going to learn about how to using grid in your CSS. As you can see, we're going to create this grid layout. First, you have to come over into your Sublime text, and into the Sublime text here, you need to come over into body section, and into the body section, we need to add a h1 tag, and into the h1 tag, we need to give a name called grid layout. We're going to save it, and now if you open our browser, we can see the grid layout over here. So now what we're going to do, we're going to create our div. So for that we need to type over here div, and into the div we need to add a class, and into the class name we're going to name it as container. After we're going to create some div and give it as name 1, and going to copy this, and then we're going to paste it 4 times. Sorry, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So for that we need to type over here 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now we need to give the div close tag. For that we need to type over here div closed, and that's it. We need to now save it. So before coming on style.css, we need to add here link, and here we need to give the file location. So for that we need to rename it and going to save it here like this, and then we need to give the href with the name. That's it. Now we can save it right here, and now we need to come over into our style.css, and into the style.css we need to add container, give the curly brackets, and into the curly brackets we need to click display, and we need to do it as grid. That's it. Then we need to add a grid template. We need to add grid template auto for the horizontally, vertically, and auto. After that we need to add background color. So for that we need to type over here background dash color, and into the background color we need to add Dodger blue. And then what we have to do, we have to create a padding. So for that we need to add padding, and the padding should be 10 pixel right now. And now we can save it, and now we want to see what we created. We created this grid layout with the color and the 8 number row. So now we're going to customize another time to the container. So for that we will going to give the dot and then name container, and after container we need to give the angle brackets, and after the angle bracket we need to add div. Into the div we need to use curly brackets, and into the curly brackets we can simply add another background color, And for the giving the background color, we can give this amount 5 on F1 F1 F1. And then we can simply add the border for the grid. So for that, we will going to give 1 pixel solid black. That's it. And now we're going to give the font size. So before font size, we can simply add some padding. So for that, we can simply give 10 pixel. And then we'll add the font size. And after, we can simply give 30 pixel. And after that, we can simply give a text align to the center. So for that, we're going to add text align and going to type over here center. That's it. We can simply now save it. And now if we just open our browser and refresh it, as you can see, we created this grid layout like this. Before one looks like this. We tried something different and now we get this grid layout looks like this. So that's it. This is how we can simply add grid layout in your HTML file using CSS. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to guide you how to create a simple menu bar or nav bar using HTML CSS. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So first we're going to open our Visual Studio Code and going to make it into the right side and then give the website into the left side. So right now what will going to happen, come over into your body section and then here you can simply add a nav tag, and into the nav we can simply add some class, and after click on class we can simply give the name to the nav bar, and after that we can into the nav bar we can simply add a unlisted tag. So for that UL tag, and into the UL tag we can simply give li tag. So for that we can simply create on list tag. Right now we can simply give anchor tag, and into the anchor tag we can simply add href, and into the href we can simply type over here, and into the href we can give the name. So I'm going to name it as, so I'm going to name nothing right now, so I can give the angular brackets right now, and into the angular brackets we can simply add home, and now we're going to close the list tag, and then after that we're going to copy this and then we're going to paste it 4 times. Into the home we can simply add about, and then we can simply add products, and then we can simply name here contacts, and then you can simply give, you can see here I didn't close the anchor text. For that I'll be going to have to click over here at this one. I'm going to anchor tag using closing anchor tag, and then we need to give the li tag. That's it. After that, here you can see we closed the UL tag over here. Now we can save it, and after that you can see in our right side, in our website, we get home, about, products and contacts and some dots. So we get the nav bar over here. After closing nav bar later, we can simply add a main tag. So we can simply give main, and into the main tag we can simply add a h3 heading. For that we need to add the heading. So for that we can simply type over here h3. Into the h3 we can simply have and simply get, so into the h3 we can simply type this is homepage, and then we can simply give enter and going to create a p tag. Into the p tag we can simply add lorem ipsum. So for that we can see lorem ipsum, and we can simply give it for 3 or 4 times. So for that we can simply give lorem ipsum, and then we can simply save it. After saving it, as we can see, in this HTML file we added a nav bar and this home page and some add some text over here. So now we're going to go for the CSS. So for that, we can simply go for the CSS file. And into the CSS file, we can simply word the first one with the navbar. So for that, we can simply give this dot over here and simply give the navbar and space with unlist UL. And then we can simply give the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets, we can simply add list style type. So I'm going to add it. I'm going to give it as a none. And then we're going to add the background color. Can simply give the background color as HSL. Can simply change the color from here. So for that, we can simply give any of color, like I'm going to give this color over here. And then we're going to save it. As you can see, it is looking like this. After giving the background color, we can simply add padding. So we're going to add padding and going to give the padding value 0 pixel. And after that, you can give pixel a percent, whatever you want. And then you can simply add the margin. So for that, we can simply add the margin and then give the margin as 0 pixel. After we can save it, and as you can see that we added some padding and a margin, and then we're going to add another one called overflow. So for that overflow, we can simply give it as hidden, and then we can save it. So now here what we can do, we can simply right now give navbar A and give the curly brackets. And now we're going to work for the color section. I'm going to give the color to white. We can simply change it. If you just save it, as you can see, it looks like this, but it looks better, I think, into the black color. That's what I think. So I'm going to save it, and as you can see, it's not looking much good. So I think white is a very good color. So we're going to save it. And now we will going to add the text decoration. And for the text decoration, we can give a none. Simply save it. As you can see, there is right now no gashes. And after that, we can simply add the padding. And for the padding, we can simply give it as a 15 pixel. And then we can simply add display. And for the display, we can block it. Can save it. And as you can see, it's now looking like this. And now if we just add the text alignment, like I'm going to add it into the center, then we can simply save it. And as you can see right now, this navbar is coming to the center. After we can use dot navbar A for hover over. So for that, we can simply add hover. And into the hover, we can add the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets, we can simply change the background color. So for the background color, we can simply add a different color. So as you can see, if we just keep it as a black, we can save it. And now if we just put our cursor on any of this picture, as you can see, there's nothing changed. You can simply add it. And then we can save it. As you can see, now it's looking perfect. And in here, we can simply change the color to 0 to 0 to 10%. That's it. We can now save it. Can simply close it. And then we can simply go for navbar list. So for navbar, for li tag and giving the curly brackets, into the curly brackets, we can simply add float. Into the float, we can simply give them add to the left side. That's it. Now saved. And now as you can see that we simply added navbar into our website. So yeah, this is how we can simply create navbar by using CSS in HTML file. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn about how to create a product card design in HTML using CSS. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So first you have to come over into your code, Visual Studio Code, and here you can simply add the index.file and you have to edit this picture. As you can say, edit this picture. And then you need to link the HTML CSS into here from this link. So after that, you just need to come over into your body section. Into the body section, you can simply add div. Into the div, we can simply add class. Into the class, we can simply name it as product card. And then we can simply give the first bracket over here. And then we're going to open the image tag. Into the image tag, we can simply add source. Into the source, we can simply give the link or the name of this picture. So I'm going to rename it and going to give the full name of it. Going to copy it, HTML, and going to give the source link over here like this. And after that, I'm going to add ALT. It's not that much needed, but now I'm going to close this line. And after, we can simply add a H4 tag. Into the H4 tag, we can simply add product name. So for that, I can simply add product. And then what we can do, we can simply, right now we can save it. And now we can simply go for the live. And as you can see, we simply added the picture over here. And as you can see, we added the product name and this image over here. So after, we will going to add div another time. Into the div, we can simply add, and in span, we can simply add the dollar sign. It will be 700. And then we can simply add button. The button, we can simply add plus sign. And that's it. We can save it right now. As you can see, we added the card over here, product name, and we can simply add the $700 over here. So we're going to add product names, iPhone 16 Pro Max, and I'm going to save it. And as you can see, we added the name and the card over here like this. So now we will going to go for our style.css, and that's the real work is starting. So right now what we're going to do, we're going to first add the body tag. Into the body, we're going to add the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets, we can simply add margin. And the margin will be 3em. We can save it right now. So you have to look over here what's going on in here. So before that, we closes the div tag, we open the div tag and h4, everything's all right. And now we can style.css. As you can see, we added the margin. And now we're going to add the background color. So for the background color, I'm going to use mint cream. So for that, I have to type over here mint cream. Can save it right now. So as you can see, it's looking like a mint cream right now. So after that, what we can do, we can simply add a product card. So for that product card, we can simply use the curly brackets. And into the curly brackets, we can simply x max width should be 12em. Can save it. And then we can simply add background color. Can add the padding. Padding should be 1em. Can save it. And after that, we can simply add the box shadow. And the box shadow should be 0.5 pixel. 5 pixel. E1. Simply add this color. So as you can see, the picture was too big. That's why we make it little bit little. So for that, I uses 200 pixel height, 200 pixel width into the image source. You can simply do it. After, we can simply come into our style.css, and then we can add the box shadow, and after the box shadow we can simply add a font family. For that I have to use font family, and into the font family I can simply use Arial, Helvetic and Sans Serif. So for that I'm going to use this. I'm going to save them, and as you can see that's worked. And after that we can go for the product image. So for that I have to come over into the product image. For that I have to use product card, and then I need to use img tag, and then I need to give the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets we can simply add max width. So we're going to add max width 100%. That's it. I have to save it right now, and as you can see they're looking 100%. And now we're going to use product card. So for that I need to use product card h4 tag, and we need to use the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets we can simply add font size. After the font size we can simply use 13em, and then we can simply add the margin 5. You can save it. Now we will go for the product div section. So for that I can simply add over here product card, and then we can use the div over here, and after the div we can simply add the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets we can simply add the font size, and the font size should be 1.2 em, and then we can simply add the display, and the display should be flex, and justify content space between. We can simply add them, and we can simply save it, and then we can simply add aligned items. So for that I have to type align items. Into the items you can simply add the center. After we can save it, and now we can simply add the product card button. So for that what we can do, can simply add product card button. Can simply use the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets we can simply add background color. Into the background color we can simply add hash 000. Can save it, and now we'll go for the color, and the color should be FFF. We can save it, and after we can simply add the border, and the border radius should be 50%. That's it. We can save it, and now the width we should need to set it as 25 pixel, and the height should be 25 pixel. Can save it, and then we can simply add the font size, and the font size should be 1 em. Can save it right now, and now we can do a simple trick called product card. So for that we can simply type over here product card to hover. We're going to give the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets we can simply add background color. The background color we can simply add light slate gray, and then we can simply add the color, and the color should be FFF. Can save it, and now if we just go for product hover button, and then we can simply add color. The color we can simply add this. Can save it, and now we can go for the background color, and background color should be FFF, and save it. And that's it. Now this is a call this product design. As you can see, if we just save it everything, and as you can see we added a gray color into this plus button, and here you can see there is a little bit of a different color, hover over. And now we're going to add the last theme for this product design. You can simply add media screen, and into the media screen and max 576 pixel, and then into the media screen and max width we can simply add dot product card, and then we can use the curly brackets. In the curly brackets we can simply add the font size 0.9 em. That's it. We can save it everything, and as you can see that we created this card into our HTML website in a very simple way. So this is how we can simply add card in your website in a very simple way. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn about how to create a table using CSS in your Visual Studio Code. So here you can see there is a table you can see, and we're going to create it into our HTML file in a very simple way, and then we're going to do some CSS into the HTML website in a very simple way. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So first what we're going to do, we're going to save it over here, and then if you come over into your right side in your website, and if you left side put your Visual Studio Code, as you can see now right now there is nothing. So we're going to add table into our body, and into the table we can simply add tier tag, and into the tier tag we can simply add th tag. Into the th tag we can simply add name. Can save it. As you can see we added the name over here, and then we're going to add table header. I'm going to add age, and then we're going to add another time th tag, and then going to add the location. It's called Newark, so I'm going to add in Newark, and then we're going to save it. And now as you can see we added the name, age, and Newark, and after that closing tier tag we're going to add another tier tag, and then here we're going to add th tag, and into the table heading tag we can simply add another name called Jane Smith, and then we can simply another add th tag and going to name it his age table data. So for that I'm going to add td tag over here. So table header tag, it's a td tag because it's an data for this table, so I'm going to add td tag, and then we're going to add the London. And after we have to come over after this tier tag, and then here we can simply add another tr tag, it means table row, and then we can simply add another table header tag. So for that we're going to use the th tag. So as you can see that we added a tier tag and the table headings, as you can see over here, but all the information into the headings we can simply add it as table data. So for that we need to change our tags into table data. So you should need to remember this, otherwise your table won't be created successfully. So into the table data we can give the name called Sam Smith or Sam Wilson, I could say, and from here I can simply copy it and going to paste it over here 2 times, and 2 times after we can simply add his age. So it's the age of, I would say, 30, and the location should be, I would like to give London. And now we can simply save it. As you can see that we added the name James Smith, Sam Wilson, age 30, New York City and London. After that we can simply add another tier tag. Into the tier tag we can simply add table data. So for that I'm going to use td tag, and into the td tag I'm going to add the name called Wilson, Shane. And then I'm going to add his age. For that, I'm going to use td tag. It's called table data, and the age should be 28. And then I'm going to use the td tag another time. I'm going to give his location into the Tokyo. That's it. If we just now save it, as we can see, we added the name, age, and Newark as the table heading. Not the Newark, I would give it as a location. So I'm going to add the location over here. Going to save it, and as you can see, we added name, age, and location. So I'm going to add it as table header, because as you can see, it's not have the bold, so that's why right now it's already all okay. And that's it. And now we will going to go for our style.css. So for that, I'll have to come over to style.css, and from here I would like to start with the body. So for that, I'm going to use the body and use the curly brackets, and for first one I'm going to use the font family to Arial, Helvetic, and sans serif. So I'm going to use them. Going to save it, and then I'm going to use the display. So for that, I'm going to use it as flex, and then I'm going to use the justify content as to the center. So for that, I'm going to click on the justify content and going to save it as center. Going to save it, and then we're going to add the align items. So for that, I'm going to add the align items attribute, and then I'm going to put it into the center another time. I'm going to save it, and as you can see, we all put it into the center. And then I'm going to use the height, and the height should be 100 VH. Sorry, I put it wrong. Attribute VH, and going to save it. As you can see now, right now they're all into the middle, as you can see. So after, what we can do, we can simply add the background color. So for that, I'm going to use the background color attribute and going to give this background color. So verify F4, 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 going to save it. And then what we can do, we can now give a margin about 0 pixel, can save it right now. And that's it, the work of the body section. And then we're going to work with the table section. So for that, we're going to use the table attributes and going to give the curly brackets, and either the curly brackets, we can simply add the width, and the width should be 80%, and we can simply save it. As you can see, there is some gaps came in. And now we're going to add the max width. So for that, I'm going to use the max width, going to give it as 600 pixel, going to save it. And then we're going to add the border. So for that, I'm going to use the border and going to give the border. It's not only the border, it's a border collapse. So for that, I'm going to use this one and going to give the collapse attribute. And into the collapse attribute, I'm going to collapse it, going to save it. And then what we can do, we can simply give a background color. So for that, I'm going to use not the color, only the background attributes. So for that, I'm going to use add white, going to save it. And then I'm going to add the box shadow. So for that, I'm going to use as a box shadow attribute, and in the box shadow attribute, you can simply add 0 for pixel, 8 pixel, and RGB. Into the RGB, we can simply add 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. That's it. And now you can see it's looking like this. So after that, we're going to click on enter another time, and then we're going to add the border radius. Into the border radius, I'm going to use it as 10 pixel. We can save it. And after that, we're going to add overflow, and overflow should be hidden. And that's it. Going to save it, and it will looks like this. And after that, what we can do, we can simply add th and td tag. and we're going to use the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets, we can simply add the padding, and the padding should be 12 pixel. That's it. We're going to save it, and as you can see, it's right now it's looking bigger. So then we're going to add is as per the text align to the center. I'm going to save it. As you can see right now, it's looking pretty good, right? We're going to add the border bottom. So the border bottom should be 1 pixel. Solid, and give the solid with hash DDD. I'm going to save it. And now as you can see that we give a border into the bottom side, and it is about 1 pixel, and the solid color is a DDD, as you can see, triple T. And then we're going to go for our next side. It's called table header side, and going to give it as a curly bracket, and into the curly brackets you can simply add the background, and the background should be this color called 3498 dB. Very good color. This looks like something blue sky. So as you can see right now, it's looking like this table header side. And we're going to add another thing into this table header as a color. I'm going to give the color as white. That's it. We're going to save it. And as you can see, the table header names color, it should be white, and the background should be blue. After that, we're going to work about the tier side. So for that, we're going to use the tier. I'm going to give the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets, I'm going to, before that tier tag, I'm going to use the tier hover. So for that, I'm going to use tier hover, and then use the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets, we can simply add the background, and the background should be hash f1 f1 f1. Say, and we can simply save it. So now it's looking like very organized. And the last one should I work with is with the TD tag. So for that, I'm going to use a TD tag. I'm going to give the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets, you can see one only given color, and the color should be 333. You can simply save it. And right now, as you can see that we all done with it, and right now, and as you can see that if I just put over here like this, as you can see, it's looking like a table with a very beautiful CSS. So yeah, this is how we can simply create table in your HTML website using CSS. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to a CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn about how to create a footer in HTML file using CSS. As you can see, we created a footer into our website, HTML website, and we use some CSS to make it a little bit beautiful. So that's it. How are you going to do it? This video will going to show you. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So first we're going to open the Visual Studio Code. I'm going to save everything. And then what we're going to do, as you can see right here, if you refresh it, there is something showing. And now as you can see, all things are clear. So if you just set it into the right side and open the Visual Studio Code to the left side, then we can simply show you by simply using live server that what changes that making for this website. So first we're going to work into the body section. We're going to add a div tag. Into the div tag, we're going to add a class. Into the class, we're going to name it as content. Then we're going to save it. Then we're going to add a h1 tag. So for that, I'm going to click on h1 tag. And into the h1 tag, I'm going to name it as welcome to the website. And after writing this, if we just save it, it will looks like this at your right side. And then we're going to go for adding a p tag and then going to add some details, like I'm going to add some details called, or we can simply use the lorem ipsum. So lorem ipsum, we added some lorem ipsum over here, and then we're going to save it. And as we can see, there is some details shows on. And then what we're going to do, we're going to close the div tag over here. So for that, close div. That's it. And then we're going to add our footer section. So for that, if I just scroll down a little bit upper, and here we're going to add the footer. So for that, I'm going to add the footer. And into the footer, we're going to name it as a class. Class, we can simply add footer. And then we're going to add this angular brackets. And into the footer tag, we're going to add a p tag. So for that, I'm going to add a p tag. And into the p tag, I'm going to add over here call copy. After the copy, we can simply add 2025 your website, and then we can simply add all right reserved, and then we can simply close the p tag, and then we can simply add another p tag, and from here we can simply add follow us on a trev hash Facebook, giving an anchor tag and then closing the anchor tag, and going to give another time anchor tag, going to add href and going to give it another hash and name it as Twitter, and giving another time anchor tag href, giving hash and give the angular brackets, and then give Instagram, and then close the p tag, and then we're going to close the footer section as well. Then we can simply save it. And now, as you can see, these things we added into our HTML website. And now we will going to work with the style.css. For the style.css, we can simply work with first this star. We're going to give the curly brackets, and into the curly brackets, you can add some margin. For the margin, we can simply add 0. We can save it right now, and that will looks like this. After, we're going to add some padding. So for that, I'm going to click on padding, going to give 0. And then we're going to add box size, box sizing. I'm going to give the box sizing as border box. I'm going to save it. And as you can see, the changes are looking very much. I'm going to give a font family. So for the font family, I'm going to use Arial, Helvetic Sans Serif, and then it will looks like this. And after that, we're going to come for the body section. For the body section, we can simply give the body and give the angular brackets, and into the angular brackets, we can simply add display, give it as flex, and then going to give the flex direction, column, and then we can simply save it. And after that we can simply add in height to 100 VH, save it. And after that we can simply give the background color like hash F5, we can save it. So these are all for the links. That's why you can simply see, we can simply see this kind of interface over here. So the system is all going for the body section. That's why you are not getting any changes. So for that you just need to keep patience, and now we will going to work with the content. And now if we just give the curly brackets, give the flex with 1, I'm going to save it. And then we're going to give a text align. So for that I'm going to type text align and give it a center. If we just save it, now you can see the changes. And then I'm going to give a padding. So for that we're going to enter the padding, give it as a 50px. So for that I'm going to type 50px, then going to save it. And after going for the content, we'll now going for the footer. So for that, in here I'm going to type over here dot footer. I'm going to give the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets I can simply add a background color. For the background color I can simply use this hash 33. I can simply save it. And then I'm going to go for the color for the text, and the color should be white. And now if I save it, as you can see, now it's looking like white. And then I'm going to go for the text align, and for the text align I can simply add it as a center, can save it. And then I'm going to look for the padding. So for the padding I'm going to type padding and then give it as 15 pixel by 0. Then I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to add the width. So for that I'm going to add the width and give it as 100%. Going to save it. And then I'm going to give a font size. So for that I'm going to type over here font size 16px. Going to save it. And then if I just go for dot footer and give anchor brackets and give the curly brackets and give a color hash ffcc 00. Going to save it, and now it's looking like this for the different color. And then we're going to give for text decoration. So I'm going to give the text decoration attribute and then save it as a none. Then you can save it. After we can simply give a font weight as a bold. So for that I'm going to give it font width, and the weight should be bold. So for that I'm going to click on bold, going to save it. And then I'm going to give a margin of 0.5 pixel. Going to save it. And after that we can give a footer over. So for that I'm going to give footer k clone hover and give the curly brackets, and the curly bracket should be text decoration underline. So I'm going to give text decoration, text decoration, give for underline, I'm going to give it like this, and that's it. We're going to now save it. We did a slight mistake, and as you can see, we now solved it. So as you can see that we added the footer, but it's not into the baseline and to the bottom. So for making it into the bottom, we can simply add an image. So for that, I can simply use img, and I'm going to add this image. If I just give the HTML file, so if I just add this image, and then what I can do, if I just remove it, can skip. So now what we can do, can simply drag down it, going to copy this name, going to index our HTML file, and now here I can simply give the source over here. If I just save it, as you can see, we added this image into our website. So if I just maximize it, as you can see that this image is set into our website, and at the end you can see the footer over. So this is how we can simply add footer into your website in a very simple way. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn about how to design a form using CSS. So we will going to design this form, and we're going to create it by a simple HTML file, and then we're going to use CSS to design this in a very simple way. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So first we're going to check it into the left right side and going to save everything. As you can see, there is right now nothing. So we're going to create the form. First of all, we need to come over into the body section. Into the body section, we can simply use the div tag. And into the div tag, we can simply use the class. And into the class, we can simply create form container. And then we're going to close this div tag. And then what we're going to do, we're going to create another h2 tag, and into the h2 tag we can simply type over here contact us. That's it. Going to save it, and as you can see, we simply give the div tag as a name called from container, and then we'll create a heading, h2 heading called contact us. And right now we're going to form tag. Into the form tag I can simply give action, and into the action attribute I can simply create a hash, and then I'm going to create a method. Into the method I can simply give the post. That's it. Now I'm going to give these angular brackets, and then we're going to create another tag called label. Into the label we can simply label for name, and then we can give the angular brackets and give the full name into the angular brackets, full name. So we added the full name into the label tags, and then we're going to input. So for the input tag I need to use input, and into the input I can simply give it type, and then I'm going to give it as a text, and then I give the ID, and the ID should be name, or I can give a smaller one, all same. And then I can give it as a name, and I would say the name as name, and then I will going to give a placeholder. So for that I can simply give placeholder, and into the placeholder I can simply use enter your full name, and then I can simply save it. And as we can see that, enter the full name, and then I will going to give the required for showing you, and that is required. And then you can simply give the angular brackets. That's it. If you now save it, and as you can see, we create a H2 heading, and then I give a full name detail, and then in here I can simply give enter your full name. And then what we can do, then we can simply create another label. So I'm going to create another label tag. Into the label tag I can give for email. So for that, space for email, and then I can simply close this and then simply name it as email. That's it. And then I'm going to give the input right now. So for that I will like to give input, and the input type should be email. So for that I'm going to give it as email, and then I'm going to give a ID, and the ID name should be email 2. And then I'm going to give a placeholder. So for that I'm going to use the placeholder, and then into the placeholder I'm going to enter your email, and then I'm going to give the required tag. So for that, required attribute, and then going to give a angular brackets, and then I can simply save it. And then as we can see, we added full name and email with this enter your email attributes or enter your email placeholder. Then I'm going to create another label, and into the label I can simply add for message, and then I'm going to give the angular brackets, and then I'm going to save it as message. So after that I'm going to give the angular brackets, and then going to create text area. I will going to make it a little bit bigger. So for that I'm going to give it as text area, and then I'll give a name of ID, and the ID should be named as message. And then I'm going to give it as a name. So the name should be message. And then I'm going to give a rows, and the rows should be S. And then I'm going to give a placeholder. So for that I'm going to type over here placeholder. In the placeholder I'm going to place write your message, and then I'm going to give the required. That's it. And then I'm going to give the angular brackets, and then that will be closed text area, and that's it. And then I'm going to, if I just save it, and so as we can see that the message should be looking like this. The message should be looking like this, and then I'm going to give a button. So for that I'm going to give the button tag. Into the button I'm going to type here as submit. Then I'm going to give this angular brackets, and the button will be gone. I mean the button will be added. So I'm going to add here send message, and if I just save it, as you can see right now there is the send message option over here, as you can see. So now I will going to close the form tag and the div tag, and I'm going to save it right now, and that's it for the HTML file. And now we will going to looking for the CSS. So for that we're going to start with the body section. So for that I'm going to add the body and give the curly brackets. Into the body I can see I can use the font family for the sans serif. I would say Arial, Helvetic, and sans serif. So I'm going to use this, and then I'm going to add the background color. So for that I'm going to add the background color to the F4, F4, and F4. If I just save it, and right now as you can see there's something changed, we can look at. So now we will going to added something that will not be visible for right now, but at the end of this video we will find why we uses this. So for that I'm going to use the display as flex. If I just save it, and now if we just look at the justify content, so for that I'm going to add the justify content attribute and make it into the center. Going to save it, and then I'm going to align items into the center. For that I'm going to use the align items and then going to save it into the center. So as you can see, there looks like this right now, and I will going to give the height should be 100 VH. So for that I'm going to save it right now, and as you can see they all are centered, and I'm going to give the margin into 0. That's it. Going to save it, and after doing some CSS in body, I'm going to add dot form container. As you know, we use this name over here, form container. Make sure you wrote the perfect one. So if you can see there is something missing, I gave a space over here. So if I just change the name with the proper, so as you can see, if I just give the name like this, I'm going to save it into the pair. We can simply add this. That's it. As you can see, now it's showing. And then I will going to give the curly brackets, and now we will going to add some background. So I'm going to add the background as a white, and then I'm going to save it. And as you can see that in the box there is something called box is showing. So right now we're going to add some padding. So for that I'm going to add the padding attribute and give it as 20 pixel. Then I'm going to add a border radius, and the border radius should be something called 8 pixel. Going to save it. So as you can see the changes, now we're going to go for the box shadow. So for that I'm going to use the box shadow, and the box shadow should be 0 pixel, 4 pixel, and 10 pixel. We're going to give also a RGB value. For that we're going to add RGB, and into the RGB for the red I can simply use this as a 0, and then for the green I can simply use for the 0 another time, and then for the blue I'm going to use 0 another time or something like this, and for the alpha I'm going to use 0 another time. So for that I'm going to use 0, and then I can simply use another color called 1. That's it. I can save it right now, and as you can see something it's looking like this for the RGB value, and for the box shadow too. So and after that we're going to add another attribute called width, and we're going to width for the 100%. Going to save it, and after that I'm going to use the max width, and the max width should be 400 pixel, and that's saved. As you can see now those are very relevant with each other. And after completing the front container works done, I'm going to looking for the front container for the H2. So for that I'm going to add the front container, and going to go for the H2 heading and going to give some curly brackets. So first I'm going to change the margin bottom. So for that I'm going to select the margin bottom and then give a margin bottom a value called 15 pixel. And then I'm going to add a text align. So for that I'm going to add text alignment or text align and going to save it as center. That's it. Going to save it right now. You can rightly see some changes over here called color, and then I'm going to add the color with the 333, and then going to save it. And now as you can see that there are something changes happening into our from container, and then I'm going to use the label curly brackets. For the label I can simply add font weight. The font weight should be bold. That's it. Going to save it. You can see the changes. And now we're going to add the display. So for that, I'm going to display, I'm going to block them. So for that, I'm going to click the block. And as you can see now, they're blocked with their systems. And as you can see now, it's looking like we are doing the right thing, right? So after that, we're going to add some margin. So for that, we're going to use margin bottom and give the margin bottom if to 5 pixel. Going to save it. And now we're going to give the color to hash 555. Going to save it. And then we will going to give the curly brackets. That's it. So right now, what we're going to do, we're going to give some CSS into input values into the text area, and now give the curly brackets, and we're going to start with the width. So for the width, we can simply give it as 100 pixel or the 100%. As you can see, you can save it. And then we're going to add the padding, and the padding should be 10 pixel. Can save it the spaces. And now we can simply add the margin bottom into 15 pixel. We can save it. And then we can simply add the border. So for that, I can simply use the border. Give 1 pixel solid hash CCC. That's it. We can save it right now. And then we can simply give a border radius. So for that, I can use border radius to 5 pixel. We can save it right now. So you can see the changes, and then we are going to add the font size. So for the font size, I can simply use 16 pixel. And now I can save it. So after all about this, we can simply add button. So for that, the button, we can simply give the button, going to mention it, and then going to give the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets, we can simply use the width. So for the width, I'm going to use 100 pixel. Going to save it. And now you can see the button went very big. And now I'm going to give the padding for the 10 pixel. Going to save it. And after, we can simply give the background. And the background should be hash 007B FF. Can save it. And now as you can see, the color is showing over, and then there is no border. So for that, I'm going to give the border and then set it as none. Can save it. And then I'm going to give the color. So the color should be white because it's suited with it. So for that, I'm going to give the white. And as you can see, the color has been set it. And now I'm going to give the font size. So for the font size, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to give it as 16 pixel. Going to save it. And then I'm going to give a cursor to change for some changes. So I'm going to give it as a pointer. Going to save it. And if you, as you can see, that there is showing some the cursor. As you can see, there is a mouse, and whenever I put it into here, it's looking like a pointer. So that's a changes in cursor. So now we're going to add the border radius, and the border radius should be 5 pixel. We're going to save it. And now I'm going to add a transition. So I'm going to add transition, and the transition should be 0.3s. And that's it. You can see there is some changes, and now we'll need to add the hover for the button. So I'm going to click the button, and for the button, I can simply use hover And for the hover, I can simply use the curly brackets, and for the changes, I can simply use the background, and the background color should be hash 0056B3, or you can simply use B3, can save it. And that's it. If you just, as you can see, whenever you put the cursor, it's look like there is some transition. It will look little bit more darker. So that's it. As you can see, we created this into our HTML file. It's called HTML file that we created with some CSS. And as you can see, it looks like very beautiful. So that's it. Simply you can design a form using CSS in your HTML file. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn about media queries in CSS. Well, if I just showing you this note over here. So alright, imagine your CSS styles are like choosing clothes. You wear different clothes depending on the weather, right? So for that, on a hot day, you wear shorts and t-shirts. On a cold day, you wear jackets and gloves. Now, media queries in CSS work the same way. They change styles based on screen size. Example, big screen versus small screen. On a big screen computer, the website has a blue background. On a small in a phone, the website has a pink background. So let's recreate this example. So for that, we will go for our Visual Studio Code. Into the Visual Studio Code, we're going to write the HTML structure, and then after come over into the body section. Into the body section, we can simply give a header. So for that, I'm going to give a h1. And into the h1 tag, I'm going to add resize the screen to see the magic. Alright, I'm going to write it. And now if I just open the live server, as you can see now it looks like this. So I'm going to put it into the left side, right side, and then I'm going to add some CSS. For that, I'm going to go for style.css file. And then here I'm going to add the body. So for that, I'm going to add with the body, giving the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets, I'm going to give the background color, and the background color should be light blue. And then I'm going to save it. And now you can see the changes. And then I'm going to give a text align, and the text align should be into the center. Going to save it. And then I'm going to give the font size. So for the font size, I'm going to give it as 24 pixel. Then I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to give a padding. So for give the padding at 50 pixel, going to save it. And then and now the main thing, where we need to use the media query. So in here, we just need to give it as a media. And after giving the media, we can simply add the max and width. So max width should be 600 pixel. And now we're going to change the color. So for that, we're going to give body. And into the body, it will change the background color to pink. And that's it. Now we can save it. And now as we can see that in our right side, we added this. So if I just, little bit resize it, just for making it little bit bigger, if we maximize our screen size, as we can see, it looks like bluish. When I make it a little bit shorter, or the size something like this, then you can see it looks like pink. So that is a media query. When you changes the size, it changes their background. And as here is a example that on a hot day you wear shorts and t-shirts. On a cold day you wear jacket and gloves. So that's a different in media queries. In media queries, CSS work in the same way. They change styles based on the screen size. So media queries change styles based on the screen size. That's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn about how to align image and text side by side HTML using CSS. So first we're going to add a div tag into our body section. And in our div we can simply give the class. For the name we can simply use container. And then we will going to give the angular brackets, and into the div tag we can simply add an image tag. And for the image we can give the source, the name of this image that we can see we added this image. So we're going to give the name, to copy this name over here like this, and then we will going to give it into the source, and then we're going to save it. And as you can see, the image is now right now showing, and give the alt image to the name of example. And after into the image we can simply add a p tag for giving some informations, and we're going to give the lorem. So as you can see, we added this text and the image, and as you can see the image showing a little bit big. So for the we're going to go for the CSS and going to give the first name container. So for that I'm going to give the image tag, and then we will going to give, and the width should be 130 pixel. Then we can save it, and as you can see the image right now is very little, so we're going to give a little bit 100 pixel. We can save it, and as you can see the image is rightly showing. And now we're going to give the margin, and the margin should be margin right to the 15 pixel. We can save it. So there is nothing changed, but if we just come over into our container only, and we can give the curly brackets, and in the curly brackets we can simply add the display, and display should be flex. We can save it, and as you can see the text aligned into the right side. And now we can give the align items into the center. So for that I'm going to give the align items to the center. That's it. We can save it right now. So yeah, this is how we can simply add or keep the image and add the text into the right side. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn about how to add font awesome icon using HTML CSS. So as we can see, we are right now in Font Awesome website, and how you can use this Font Awesome website for your HTML file, and you can simply add thousands of icons for your web development. Font Awesome is a popular icon library that provides scalable vector icons that can easily customized with CSS. So let's try. First of all, we will going to go for this HTML file and going to remove this href. And we're going to leave all the structure as it is. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go for any of website, and to the website we can simply search for Font Awesome CDN. We need to search over it, and then we're going to go for this CDN.js or this website, and from here we can simply select the version, which version we need. So we'll go for the latest one, and then going to copy this version and simply going to copy it. And after that we're going to go for our website and going to give it into this here, and now going to give the brackets or this clone, and that's it. We're going to save it, and then we're going to give these brackets over here, angular brackets, and that's it. We're going to save it. And now if we just go for, our this website, if we just refresh it, as you can see we linked with this website. And now what we're going to do, if we just come over into the website, Font Awesome website, you can simply search for Font Awesome website, and then after that we can simply come over for the icons, and then here you can search for image. So if I just click on image, and as you can see we get this image icons. You can simply copy this. As you can see, we simply copy this HTML, copy it, and then we can simply go for our this body tag. Into the body tag, we can simply paste it and then we can simply save it. So if I just save it, as you can see, if we just go for our live website, and here you can see we added these icons over here. Also, we can change it, change this color and size. So what we can do, we can simply go for the Visual Studio Code, and then here we can simply add style. Into the style, we can simply give the font size, and the font size, if I just give 50 pixel, if I just save it, that the live server, if we just go here, as you can see, the size has been increased. So if I just wanted to change the color, we can simply give color, and if I just wanted to make it blue, we can simply give it and we can simply save it. After, we can simply go for this image icons. As you can see, we changed the image icons. So you can simply add the font awesome CDN into your HTML website. You can simply change some of those icons and you can simply change their size and color. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn about how to design a button in HTML using CSS. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So first, we're going to open Visual Studio Code. And if you open Visual Studio Code, as you can see here, we're going to type this and going to give the HTML structure. And into this HTML structure will come from the body, and to the body we can simply create a button. I'm going to name it as button class, a container, and then I'm going to give the angular brackets, and into the button we can simply create click me. Then we're going to save it, everything. And now we're going to open the live server. And as you can see in our right side, our website showing a click me button over here. So now we're going to design it. So for that, what we're going to do, first I'm going to make the Visual Studio Code in my left side and make the website into my right side. And now we're going to go for the CSS. Before going to the CSS, we need to come over into our head section and going to link the CSS. For that, I'm going to, or I can simply give the name over here, style.css. Going to save everything, and now we're going to come over into our style.css. So first we're going to work with the body section. So for that, I'm going to type here body and then going to give the curly brackets because I want to make this button into our center. So for that, I'm going to use a very important tag. It's called display, and I'm going to use it as flex. Going to save it. And then I'm going to use the justify content. So for that, justify content, I'm going to use center, save it. And as you can see, it's now showing into the center, but in the top side. I want to make it's come into the center. So for that, I'm going to use the alignment items. So for that, I'm going to use center and I'm going to save it and then give the height 100 VH. Going to save it, and as you can see right now it's in the middle. So next we're going to go for the margin, and the margin should be 0. And then I'm going to look for the background color. So for the background color, I'm going to use black because it will suit. So I'm going to now save it, and as you can see that the whole website is looking like black, and now it's the button showing over here. So now we will going to work with the buttons. So for that, as we know what we name it as container. So I'm going to use the container, gives the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets, I can simply use border radius. And for the border radius, I'm going to use 5 pixel. And then I'm going to use the cursor. For the cursor, I can simply give the pointer. Then I'm going to look for the font size, and the font size should be 16 px. After, we're going to use some transition. So for that, I'm going to use the transition attribute, and then we're going to give it a 0.3 second. Then we're going to save it. And as you can see, now our button looks like this. After we're going to use the hover, so for that we're going to use the hover. So give hover over here, give the curly brackets, and into the curly brackets we can simply give the background color. And for the background color, I'm going to use 0056B3. That's it. I'm going to save it. And now whenever you put your cursor on it, as you can see, it's changing the color. So before that, I'm going to add a container and I'm going to give a color over here to give a background color. So for that, I'm going to give the background color over here, and then I'm going to give it, or I'm going to save it right now. So as you can see, it now looks like this. So let's give it as this color to save. Okay. Now all things okay. And if I just save it, as you can see right now, our button is showing over here. Whenever you just put your cursor on this click me button, as you can see, it's changing the hover color. Also, we can change the background color from the body. You can simply give it as white, and you can simply save it. So now you can simply see what your buttons looks like. So yeah, this is how you can simply create a HTML button for your website, and you can simply customize it by using CSS. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye. Hey everyone, welcome back to CSS tutorial for complete beginners. Today we're going to learn about create a simple website using HTML and CSS. So without wasting any time, let's get started. First, we're going to come over into our index.html or in our Visual Studio Code, and from here I'm going to open the live server, and I'm going to do it with side by side for showing you what's changing and how it's doing. So for that, I will going to first give this, I'm going to create the HTML structure, and after that I'm going to come over into the body section. Into the body section, I'm going to add a new header, and into the header I'm going to give a nav. So for that, I'm going to use a nav. After that, I'm going to give the unlisted tag, and into the unlisted tag, I'm going to use the list tag. So for that, I'm going to give the list tag. Into the list tag, I'm going to anchor tag. So for that, I'm going to give the anchor tag, and then give the href, and then I'm going to give a hash, and then close the anchor tag. I'm going to give it as home. Then I'm going to save it, copy this list like this. As you can see, I'm going to copy it and going to paste it for 3 times. Paste, paste, and paste. And then I'm going to change here this hash call. In this here, I'm going to use about. And then here I'm going to use services. And here I'm going to name it as services. And then in here I'm going to use contact. So everywhere you just need to give the hash contact, and give the hash, and that's it. Now you can simply save it. And now if you save it, and then you just need to close the unlisted. So now you can simply save it. Now you can simply open the live server, and as you can see that you added home, about, services, and home. So maybe I type it. Oh, here I need to type over here contacts, and I can simply save it. And as you can see, in my right side in website, we added home, about, services, and contacts. So after creating the list item, now we can simply come over into header section, and then after closing the header tag we can simply start with a section. So for that I'm going to create section and then give a class name over here. But before that, into the section we can simply add class and give the class as a hero. And into the section I can simply give a image source. So for that I'm going to use image and going to give the source. So for that I need to add an image. So as you can see into my HTML file I added this image. So for that what we have to do, I'm going to do this a little bit, and then as you can see here is the image. So for that I'm going to copy its name over here. I'm going to copy it and going to paste it into the source item as like this, and come over into the alt and giving the alt as a hero image. Then simply save it. And now if we just close it, and now if we see into our website, as you can see we added this image over here. So now what we did, we will going to create another heading. So for that we're going to give the heading as h1 tag and going to give the heading as welcome to our modern website. So for that, welcome to our modern website. And after that we're going to add a paragraph. So for that I'm going to give a paragraph tag. The paragraph tag I can simply type over here your one stop solution for web development. I can simply save it, and as you can see we added the text over here into the paragraph tag. And then I'm going to close the section, and after that I'm going to add another section, and into the section I can give another ID, and into the ID I can simply give it about, and then I can simply give the angular bracket after section, and into the section I can simply add a h2 tag, and to the h2 tag I can simply give about us, and then I can simply save it. And if I just scroll down a little bit, as you can see we added the about us, and after that we can simply add a paragraph tag. So for that I can simply give the paragraph tag, and into the paragraph tag we can simply add lorem ipsum. So for that I'm going to click the lorem ipsum. We can simply save it, and as you can see we added some text in a paragraph tag, and we can simply close the section. And after we're going to add a services, create another section, and I'm going to give the section, give the ID, then I can simply give the angular brackets or not here after this clone, so services. And after that we can simply add into the section h2 tag. Into the h2 tag we can simply type our services, and that's it. We can save it right now. And if we just a UL tag, unlisted tag, into the unlisted tag we can simply add a listed tag. Into the listed tag we can simply add web design, and after that we can simply copy it to time 3 times. I'm going to give the 4th tag, and now we're going to change the list items. So for that we're going to change a second one for web development, and after into the third row we can simply give SEO optimization, optimization, and after that we can simply add digital marketing. And then I can simply save them. And as you can see, we added our services, web design, web development, SEO optimization, and digital marketing. After that, we can simply add the section and our listed items too. And then we can simply, what we can do, we can create another section. And into the section, we can simply add an ID. Into the ID, we can give it as now contact. Then simply give contact, not the capital letter. And then we can simply give the angular brackets. Into the section, we can simply add another header to tag. In the header 2, we can simply add contact us. Now we can save it. And now if you look at the right side, as you can see, we add in the contact us. And then we can simply add a paragraph. So for that, I can simply give a paragraph tag. And I can add the email. So for that, I'm going to add the email. And for the email, I can simply give a random, like for showing your contact as red modernweb.com. Not. And that's it. Now we can simply close the section and then we can add a footer. So as you can see what we did, if we just save it, and now as you can see, we add our email website and then we can simply add a footer. So for that, I have to use a footer. So I can simply give a footer, and into the footer, I can simply add a paragraph tag. And into the paragraph tag, we can simply give at the rate copy 2025 modern web design. And that's it. And then we can simply give all right reserved those p tag. Design and all right reserved, and here I can simply give the closing p tag and now the footer, and that's it. This is all about the HTML. So if I just save it, and as you can see, into the contact us, we added the email and modernweb.com, and then we can simply added a footer over here. As you can see, we added the footer. So all done here. We can simply now save them or saved, and now we can simply go for the style.css. Before going for the style.css, here we need to add something called link. Into the link, I can need to name the style.css. I can save it right now. So now we added, now as you can see, we added the style.css over here. So as you can see, if you just want to get it properly, you can simply copy the name and then you can simply add it over here if you're facing any problem. So now we can save it, and as you can see, we added this HTML website. So now we're going to go for work with the style.css, and to the style.css first we'll work with the body. So for that, we're going to give the body and the angular brackets. Into the angular bracket, I have to use a font family. For the font family, I can simply use a very popular Arial and sans serif. I can simply add them and I can simply save them. And as you can see that all the font has been changed over here like this, as you can see. So now we will work with the body, and after that we're going to work about the padding. So before that, we're going to add a margin, and the margin should be 0. margin should be 0. I can simply save it. You can simply checking the changes. I can simply now add the padding. Add the padding and I can simply save it. And now I can simply add the text align, and the text align should be into the center. I can simply save them. And as you can see, all are centered right now. All the items are centered right now. And then we can simply add a background color. So for that, I can simply use a very popular color, F4, F4, F4. And now I can simply save them. You won't get the much changes, but if I just change it with this color called this red color, now if I save it, as you can see, all into the back are going to checked with red. But I will don't use it. I'm going to use it a very proper way. So for that, I'm going to use hash F4, F4, F4. I can save it right now. As you can see, we changed the color to the background color. And then we will going to work with the nav bar. So for that, I'm going to use the nav ul, and then going to give the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets, I can simply add the list style. So for that, I'm going to restyle. I'm going to use nothing. So for what will happen, there will be no underline. So for that, if I just save it right now, as you can see, no dots are over here. First, there is no dots over here, as you can see. And after, we're going to use the background color. So for that, I'm going to use the background. For the text color, I'm going to use the background, and then I'm going to give this color. Simply, I can save it, and as you can see, we added a background color, and then we can simply add the padding. For the padding, I can simply use it about the 15 pixel. Can save it, and for the upper and lower, we added 15% padding. And after that, we can simply go for nav ul list. So for that, I'm going to use nav, and then going to give ul and list, and then giving the curly brackets. And into the curly brackets, I can simply use the display as inline CSS. We ever heard about it? Now you can see that it's an inline. So what we're going to do is all that bar over showing here, they're all going to be horizontal. As you can see, they are not vertical right now, they're horizontally, they're showing. So then I'm going to add, and then I'm going to use a nav ul list, and with the anchor text. So for that, I'm going to use the curly brackets. I'm going to give them a color. It's called the text color. So I'm going to give them white. Then save it, and as you can see, they are changed with the color white. And after that, I'm going to give the text decoration. For showing them, there will be no underline. So for that, I'm going to give the text decoration. For the text decoration, I can simply set them as none. Can save it, and then I'm going to use the font size, and the font size should be 18px. Can save it, and now I'm going to use the hero image. So for that, I'm going to press a hero img. I'm going to do the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets, I can simply set them the width. So for that, I'm going to use the width as 100%. Now I can save them. And then I'm going to give the height, and the height should be 400 pixel. Can save it. And as you can see, now I'm going to use the object fit. I'm going to object fit into cover and save it. I'm going to give the opacity, and the opacity should be 0.8. Can save it, but I can do a new section called, if I just use section, use the curly brackets. Into the curly brackets, I can simply use the padding, and the padding should be 40px. I can save them right now. So I'm going to create the footer CSS. So for that, I'm going to use something to the footer. So I'm going to use the footer, give the curly brackets. Into the curly bracket, I can simply use a background, not the color, only the background. And for the background, I can simply use 333 over here. I can save it right now. So if you just scroll down a little bit, as you can see, the footer section is now looking at. And then I can simply give a color to them for white. I can simply save it right now. So if you just scroll them, and as you can see, their footer, they're looking perfectly. And then we can simply set them a padding. So for the padding, I can simply use 10 pixel. I can save it, and then I can simply give them a position. So for that, I can simply give them a position. Going to give the position as relative. I can save it, and now they are looking well. After, I can simply give a bottom. So for that, I can simply give a bottom to the 0, and then I can simply use a width, and for the width, I can simply give them 100%. And that's it. I can save it right now, and as you can see that they're completely okay with the footer section. And that's it. That's what everything about your. So as you can see, this is the website that we're talking about. So this is how we can simply create a website using CSS in a very simple way. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you for another videos. Till then, goodbye.